Yes, it does, Trebek.
Safer than murder. And I'm not saying that the poor women who have abortions are necessarily murderers. I'm not saying that. Because a lot of them, they don't know really what they're doing. A lot of them are scared, confused. But the act objective is taking the life of an innocent. That's what it is. Regardless of intent, that's what it is in the objective order. Plain God. That's God's business. You can't play God.
My God, it's Trebek.
Genocide. Mass, huge numbers of people exterminated for this reason or that. Euthanasia. The very word in Greek, merciful death. Merciful indeed. Had fought in 2 wars and served 2 countries. Dad had fought in World War II in the Navy, served his country. Then later in life, he fought in another kind of war, a war of redemptive suffering. In his last 7 years of life, he had over 30 surgeries. He was a man acquainted with infirmity.
His name was
He
Trebek.
knew something about pain and suffering. And he did it with dignity. He did it quietly. He did it in holiness. He was a member of what has been called the greatest generation. Some of you are members of that generation. And I began to preach along the lines of what came to me. I did this homily.
And you just...
2 countries. United States,
Whoops.
heaven. 2 wars. 2 countries. Our real homeland is heaven. 2 ways are set before you, O man. The way of life and the way of death. Therefore, choose life. Choose life. Choose the truth. Be in love with the truth. Be enamored of the truth. Be totally imbued with the truth, that you might radiate the truth. That you might give witness to the truth. That you might live the truth. That you might, if necessary, die for the truth. Be a soldier in the army of life. Be a people of life and a people for life.
Join him, I
And
6.
wherever the forces of death are at work, take up the battle cry. Battle cry of life. Battle cry of God's people. Holy people. People of life. From artificial contraception to abortion to murder and mayhem all the way to euthanasia. You gotta fight it. In this great nation, I guarantee you that if more than 60 million Catholics would have lived their faith
Yep, really looks like Connery there.
and been faithful to their faith over the last 30-some years, we'd have a very different country and a very different world.
Also, it
But
says
75% of Catholics in most places don't even go to Mass on Sunday. They're not receiving the sacraments. They're living in a state of serious sin.
they can burn it
A
out.
large number of them are engaged in artificial contraception. They have the same mind as the world, the secular world, no different. They are not the salt of the earth, and they are not the light of the world.
Really?
So the majority of the world wanders around in darkness. Salt. What's it used for? To preserve?
What is best in life?
Preserve food
Trebek.
with salt, right? Well, you need the salt of the earth to preserve the world from corruption.
You can be a man.
Where was the salt at Enron? Where was the salt at Arthur Anderson? Where was the salt at WorldCom?
That is,
Where was the
boy.
salt in the medical and legal profession? Where was the salt in the priesthood? Episcopus. And Jesus said, if the salt loses its savor, it is good for nothing, but to be thrown out and trodden underfoot. And salt is used to give taste. You think we have a tasteless society? It's because the salt of the earth has lost its savor. I don't blame it on the pagans.
Okay, that's enough.
I don't